Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the R&D show. We're your hosts. I'm Shad,
I'm Ryan.
and you're tuning to the R&D show.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
It's been a few weeks, but we back in this thing.
Back in the house.
Back in the house. Hopefully everybody's doing good, feeling great. Um, it is a new month, and let's jump into Melody Mondays. We'll jump right into it. So we did watch of course we watched last week's episode last week, and we watched this week's episode. And what's your thoughts?
I mean, we're starting to see more of the things we wanted to see. We wanted to see Melody's single life, how that's coming into play. We're seeing more of our own friends away from the show, which is really cool. Also, like that we're seeing some of these newer couples, seeing how their relationships work. So I like the newness of it all, and we're not focused on the same old storylines as we were like last season and the previous season. So I like that we're venturing into the lives of several new couples, and we're seeing Melody, be her fabulous self.
No, I agree. I said, I was watching, I was like, now we're seeing Melody's real friends opposed to her coworkers. Because, on a lot of these shows, people that they film with is really just their coworkers. They're not really their friends. And so the dynamics is different when you see them with their actual friends. So seeing her with, Shanita Foster and some of the other ladies that are her actual friends, they were able to have the uncomfortable conversation so that they can know how to move forward comfortably. And these was like conversations that she wouldn't just sit and have with like Kimmy and Tisha and Stormy and them, because that's not really like her friends like that. And you can always tell the difference of dynamics when someone is allowing you to invade that private part of your life that you don't really talk about, but you're comfortable enough to talk about it, and you feel safe enough to talk about it around people that you feel actually love, respect, and care about you. And so those scenes were, it was good to see, and it was also good to even to see the way that she responded to like some of the questions that they had, and some of their observations. And she's like, you got to just think, I'm still healing. And when you're still in the healing process, you don't even think about a relationship. And not only that, I'm still healing my children as well. So it's kind of like, you gotta think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, because they kept trying to set her up with different guys, and they kept saying Melody had an excuse for everybody. There's always something with somebody, but she was just like, well, maybe I'm just not ready. She's still healing from, all the hurt and the trauma that happened in her marriage, and that continues to happen, and the betrayal that continues to happen. Especially when someone's trying to release some private footage of you, something that you shared that was very intimate with that person, and you're threatening to put it in a public atmosphere, that could really be difficult for you to trust again and to, deal with men in a certain way. So hopefully she gets the healing she needs, because, she deserves to be with someone that loves her, that's equally yoked. We can all agree that Martel was not equally yoked. Just like we all can agree that Sonny and what's the guy that she's dating? On the show, Moses, they don't seem to be equally yoked. So in a number of ways.
I do love that the biggest message that was made is self-work. Do your life work, do your self-work, self-care, go on your journey of healing and or emotional completion so that you can be prepared for something great when it's time. I think a lot of times people don't give themselves enough time to do that work and to go on that journey, and to filter those things that happen to you out so that you can go into another relationship whole and in peace instead of in pieces. And I love that she's able to, spread that narrative and showcase that message, because I feel like so many people need to hear that. A lot of people get out of one relationship, go into the next, get out of one, go into the next, get out of one, go into the next. And they haven't given themselves time to actually do the work that they need for themselves, mind, body, soul, spirit, and heart. I think a good example is Portia. Portia going into one relationship, getting out of it, going to the next, getting out of it, because she had a mission and she had a goal, but then she finally low-key met her match because she didn't give herself the time that she needed to really get to know this individual, and also to really get to know herself. It was always chasing after something. And sometimes you get exactly what you're chasing after. And right now she's dealing with exactly what she's been chasing after, because Simon has been giving her hell on a daily basis, like literally. And it's just very interesting. And she even said, well, I didn't know this about him. And so people are like, well, yeah,
no shit.
Of course you did. Like,
it takes time to really get to know
you was after the monies. You was little access to the monies. Like,
okay, sweet tea.
They're like, of course you didn't know it, because all you seen was dollar signs, and you didn't understand that there was somebody else. Like,
you didn't care to know it. It didn't
yeah.
seem like you were interested in knowing deeper.
No.
You were focused on the wrong things.
The glitz and glamour and what could be done for you, and the dollar signs and the representative, because clearly that was a representative, and then things started coming out and you immediately filed for divorce. So it's like a prime example of giving yourself time, slowing yourself down, doing your work to love yourself, to relationship with self, and do what you have to do first for self before you just jump into something just because.
And know that you can be okay being by yourself. I think
Absolutely.
That's a big thing, because when you know you can be okay by yourself, when you get into a difficult relationship, you're more apt to leave, because you know that, like, I was fine before this person, so I'm gonna be fine after this person.
Absolutely. And self-love and God's love is the greatest love first. And a lot of times people just skip completely over that just because, like I said, the glitz and glamour of it all, or I'm so lonely. Like, this whole lonely narrative thing will get you in situations that will turn you every which way but loose. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very careful of settling, because again, when you settle for something that isn't quite meant for you and was never yours, you end up with less than what you settled for. So we applaud Melody for giving herself permission to not rush anything, but to do what she has to do, mind, body, soul, spirit, and heart, until she's in a place where she's mentally ready and just prepared.
Yeah, we applaud you, Melody, with
Absolutely.
that. And hopefully, once you've done that, the right person will come along. Once you've done the work and you're really happy by yourself, and then there'll be room for the right person to come along, and you'll be in a better space.
And not only that, hopefully, women that are watching are taking notes as well. That you're okay, you're just fine. I think society sometimes pushes relationships on people, and sometimes people push relationships on themselves because they think that they want what other people have, not realizing what's going on behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Everything that look good ain't good for you. So we have to be very careful and just be comfortable in our space that we're in, love the space that we're in, embrace the space that we're in. And if it's meant to be, it will be for you.
Amen.
Always remember that. So that was a great takeaway. I will say, we started off the episode with finishing up the conversation with Destiny and Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can tell that Destiny is frustrated, she's aggravated, and she's just over the whole situation because she felt kind of played a little bit. You know what I mean? She kind of felt like you played in my face. And so anytime somebody kind of feels that way, they're going to just fire at you. And that's kind of what she was doing, was just giving it to him, and he didn't even know how to really respond. And so it was very interesting they both had two different narratives of what transpired in their relationship and what their relationship was all about. So that was very interesting, because it was like playing ping pong.
Yeah, I think from Destiny's standpoint, that Moses never stepped up to be the man that she wanted to be. And Moses was like, you really never gave me a chance because you were never there, But Destiny's like, I flew out every other weekend. What you mean I was never there? And so it really was interesting to see, like, the completely different perspectives on things. The two people, they were living, the same reality, but in their heads, two different things were happening.
Two different relationships.
Yeah. So what is going on? Who's right? And probably the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Definitely the truth has to be somewhere in the middle, but I also think that two people are trying to get their point across as well.
Yeah.
Two people are trying to be right and not wanting to be wrong about what transpired that got them to where they are today. and you can tell that he finally just got frustrated and got up from the table and left because she was hitting a nerve. And I think he wanted to save himself also from going there, going there and having that argument, because she was really taking shots and it was just landing. And he's just like, let me just get up. But what was interesting is when he got back and he sat with his wife, Sunny, and the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, what does she have on? Like,
why are you
is that an
insecure?
insecurity ring?
Right.
Yeah,
What's
like,
going on
knocking
there?
at the door, like that would be the last thing that I'll ask. Like, actually, I met up. What did she have on? What did he have on? What did they have on? Like, it's not what I want to know. And then she, of course, she noticed. She asked about the wedding ring. Like, did you wear? Or what he said he didn't wear his ring.
Yeah.
And so she's like, question mark, why wouldn't you wear a ring? But what was very interesting between them two is she is the authoritative figure, and she also, it's as if it's a mother and son type of relationship.
She's telling him what to think.
She's telling him, yeah. And so he's just like, yeah,
sure. Yeah, she was just a side chick. Sure.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, in the conversation with Destiny, he made it seem like he wanted more than just a side chick. But when Sunny's describing the situation, she's just one of many chicks that was flown out on the weekend and just getting banged and flew back home. And he's like, yeah.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly It was as if his elevator was just stuck in the basement. And I'm like, sir, the lights are on, but nobody's home. It's kind of weird. Like, speak up for yourself. Like, you don't have to speak up for Destiny, but you can set the record straight on what y'all had. I think you're trying to please her and make her feel good about the situation, but it's not looking good. If anything, she's probably gonna get ate up at the reunion because you sit there and you're allowing someone to create this narrative that isn't true.
Because it's obvious that Moses did care about Destiny. They had a long history of friendship. And it seems like maybe Destiny's right that he was trying to get back at her because, she apparently wasn't making the time for him. And it's obvious that they still have there was a love there was a care there, because it's still so much hurt, especially on Destiny's part. She was like, you betrayed me. We were friends first. She didn't expect that from him.
It's just very unresolved.
Yeah.
And that could have been, a resolution could have been met when they sat down, but of course they were too busy going back and forth and playing the you're right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong game. But Sunny she just comes across so aggressive. Like, if you didn't have a relationship with Destiny, fine. But it's almost as if you're trying to paint yourself to be the better woman, the better person. And at the end of the day, you're just coming off as really like petty and insecure. It's like,
insecure and empathetic. Like, yes, you guys had some type of relationship, even if it was a work relationship. She had to be vulnerable enough to trust you because you were her producer. So she did share some things. So you could see how the line may have got crossed, or she thought you had a friendship, and you're sending a text message saying you love her and things of that nature. Like, you should be able to see it from her standpoint, and maybe she just did get lines twisted. And you were, like you said, you were very good at your job, but I think she could speak with a little bit more empathy. I think she's more interested in defending herself.
Yeah, she is.
And rather than
defend the narrative, what transpired.
Rather than being compassionate, empathetic, and seeing the other side of the story, because she did somewhat cross the line. Because even if it wasn't a friendship, there was a work relationship there, and there's still some code as well. Like, if you work with someone as well, you still don't want to cross certain lines. You cross those lines, and you could say, okay, well, I crossed those lines. I'm sorry, made a mistake. But she's not really taking any ownership for anything.
No. And the one thing that I want to say is, this isn't let's stick up for Destiny type of conversation. This is a human nature conversation when it comes to adults and relationships, because it has nothing to do with our like and or dislike for Destiny or any of them. But when you think about this narrative just in general, it shouldn't be as complicated as they're making it. There's a right and there's a wrong, and I feel like Sunny should see the part that she played in it where it was wrong. Mm-hmm. I can understand how you feel, even if I don't completely agree, but I do understand how you feel, because I should have communicated that a little better, or maybe I did give the impression that we were friends just because of the way that I handled you.
It's such a hostile energy from her towards Destiny, and for what reason? You instilled well, you instill her, man, because it really never was a man, and she's probably better off because of it, because it seems like Destiny and Moses would not have been equally yoked in a number of ways. And so I'm really trying to figure out what's more to him, but maybe, he's kind, it seems like he's kind-hearted and loving, but like, from like an intellectual standpoint, it doesn't seem to be, I'm not saying a match or, but he seems like he's a nice, sweet guy. So,
or maybe he's just like somebody that takes
control.
control.
Yeah, because both of them are very dominant women. They're business women. They're type A personality. So he seems like he may prefer that.
He wants somebody to take control.
He may take control in other areas, and they may like that. So
they're like, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. So he seems like a nice guy though.
But yeah, it's just that situation is just, it's complicated, but it doesn't have to be as complicated. And I guess we'll see the twists and turns as it continues to unravel, and whatever the case may be.
It'll be so simple. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. We did this. We could have handled this better, and we didn't mean to hurt you.
But as we've seen plenty of times on these shows, people have a hard time taking accountability, such as life. People have a tough time, and this is why we like to dissect it and not make it about who we do and don't like, or who is or isn't our favorite, whatever the case may be, but just life situations playing out on reality TV. And you can be like, man, I know certain somebody that dealt with something like this, and so on and so forth, and just giving realistic, unsolicited advice and opinions on how to navigate through that thing. And I think that sometimes you have to watch some of these shows with that type of lens, and not so much about who you do and don't really like, because there's a message there somewhere. You can get a little bit of something and kind of apply it to help not only yourself but other people as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Continue to see how this unravels.
And then we also continue to see how Martel is just a very awkward person. Just seems like a liar. Like when there's a scene where, what's the new girl's name? Trish is with Stormy. Martel walks in and he introduces himself like he's never met her and says, "Nice to meet you." When clearly they've known each other since childhood, and she's like, "What is going on? What are we doing? Why are we acting like we don't know each other?" So it makes it feel like there may be something happened between them two. I mean, just from his reaction, but she's saying nothing happened, but it's very awkward that he would say "nice to meet you" and introduce himself as Martel, and then kind of lie about it, like, "Oh, I didn't recognize you," and you just saw her what?
At the grocery store.
At the grocery store. Yeah.
So
I lost weight, you recognized me, but you recognized me a few weeks ago. It's so childish. It's like, I wonder.
He just likes a little bit of attention. He wants attention. He wants to get some type of attention.
Melody, you should be so grateful. Like, oh my God, I know. Like, you are looking back like, what the heck was I doing? I know she's looking at him like, what the heck was I thinking? Like, because, he's a mess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother.
I try not to get into the why are y'all filming with him mode, because I know a show has to happen, it's a cast, it's an ensemble, whatever the case may be, but I was a little bit on the fence, like, Stormy, what are you doing? But again, people aren't picking sides. They're probably just working. They probably also see it as just work. Not saying that they have an actual relationship with these people, but these are my coworkers and I have to work with these people, kind of like what some of us doing every day. Every day, like these people that we don't necessarily care for them. We don't talk to them outside of work like that, but this is just work. And once I wrap my mind around that, then I can get through certain scenes when it comes to Martel.
These people on this show are very clear. This is work. Yeah. Even I think Tisha and Trisha kind of filming together, and knowing that Trisha is Stormy's friend, and Tisha and Stormy have this thing going on where they don't like each other. I think they all see it as work. It's an opportunity for a paycheck, and I'm willing to film with whoever just to get this check. And that was really the big issue with what's the name of the girl? Tisha's cousin.
Oh, Kiki.
Kiki, she was letting out information to the blogs before it came on TV, and it was like, you're messing up our check. Like, we need to wait to air this stuff out on live TV, not on the blog. So don't mess up our paycheck,
Yeah.
you know. So they're very clear. They're there for a paycheck. I mean, I think a lot of the storylines are real, but I think they're a little bit more open. And some of the other like reality TV shows can learn from them and treat it more like, okay, this is a job.
Yeah, at the end of the day, because if you're really trying to, I think sometimes you can establish a real friendship, right? Or you can come into it as real friends, and then things happen, unfortunately, as we've seen time and time again. There's fallouts, and now you're no longer friends. That's something that can happen, but also when you do look at it from the other point of view or perspective or other lens, work is work. So
where else am I going to make this paycheck and get this level of fame? Like, where? Like,
it is what it is. If it's a scene, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scenes, I'm down for it. Like, once they say cut, we don't even gotta speak. But during this moment, work is work. Some people know how to compartmentalize in that way, and some don't, as we've seen on Married to Medicine.
Married to Medicine.
Yeah, like some people don't know how to do that, and they are impacted by this friendship going sour, or you really not showing up for me, instead of just being like, this is work, let's laugh, let's have these drinks, let's go on this trip, let's have a good time, and then when the camera's cut, we don't have to speak, or whatever the case may be.
And it's okay to be hurt, you know, initially by thinking someone's your friend, but once you realize who that person is, I was like, I got you. I'm gonna communicate with you accordingly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have a layer of protection. I still can be in your presence. This still is a paycheck for you and I. I can coexist. We can get this money and we can move on.
But I think that's about the only upper hand that Carlos has right now as, you know, a producer, is his cast is filming with each other. Even if they don't get along, they're having these sit downs and they're still filming and they're still going back and forth, whatever the case may be, because that's the only way a show is going to work. If people don't want to film with people, the show won't really work, and then you got to keep recycling people in and out to see who's going to be comfortable and who's good for TV. So I think that that's a good thing for this show, and also seeing different storylines is also good, because we don't want to just be stuck on a certain narrative that happened all these years ago. You know, even though it's being talked around, I feel like it's not the focus. Like right now, it's not the focal point. Like other people's storylines are, you know, evolving.
I say this show has been refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have the drama and the heaviness of some of the past seasons. It's a little more of a lightness to it. You see Mel in different space. You also see these two new couples, and especially Trish and her husband. You see her boyfriend, what she calls, you know, maybe her fiance. You see their relationship is lighthearted. So it's actually easier to watch and less drama, and I enjoy it.
What you know what's interesting is some people on Twitter don't enjoy it.
And they say it's boring.
It's boring. They're like, Carlos thought he did something with these new people, but they're boring. And I think that certain stuff doesn't register because it's not drama. It's not like arguing the whole show.
And it's the same thing happens when people are in relationships. They're like, this relationship is boring. When something's stable and something's going well, people are so addicted to the drama. They're addicted to the trauma that when something is just even keel and just happy, they don't know what to do with this boring. I don't feel the passion. I don't feel the energy. There's no spark. There's no this. When it's just like, this is normal. What you're used to being around is not normal. What you're used to seeing, maybe your parents' experience, is not a normal, healthy relationship. Yeah. So sometimes people they're just not used to it. And I think it's interesting for this new couple. Yeah, they might not have a lot of drama, but you see that Trish, she experienced some trauma and she's trying to overcome it, some things. And you see this man that's willing to invest in her and to like try to get her to be more vulnerable and open her up. And the kindness behind that, I think that's very interesting. There's not a lot of drama around it, but you see this woman, you know, it's the Tyler Perry story. It's almost like, here comes this guy coming into this woman's life to help her heal. So I think it's a really neat storyline.
No, yeah, I agree. It is refreshing. Again, it's not what I think people expected it to be, the Martel show. And you know, all this, that, and the other, but it has been refreshing. It's been pretty refreshing. But those are like mainly my takeaways from the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, we got similar takeaways.
Yeah.
So we definitely have enjoyed the lighter nature of it. We're sure that like some drama is to come. It's inevitable. But I think Carlos has done a good job of introducing new characters, pushing the storylines, having people sit down and talk with each other. So, you know, sometimes we can be critical of Carlos, but, you know, overall, I mean, he has been a mastermind behind reality TV. He's done a tremendous job. So I know you may not agree, but yeah. Solid. He has. You can't deny it. You may not like certain things, but you can't deny, you know, the impact. He has a #1 show on. You know, you can't deny that.
You know, that Tyler Perry's gone.
No, that Tyler Perry's gone, yeah.
But I do want to touch on Tish. Age shaming.
It's definite. Go ahead.
Age shaming.
Who?
Tish. Remember she said, how old is Nell? Like,
right.
60,
right. Shady.
She said, but she looked good.
No, but Martel did it the best. He was like, I'm going to an old person's birthday party anyway. Because Nell didn't invite him and chose to invite Mel instead of him. He was like, I'm going to go to an old person's party anyway. Like, think I'm going to be mad about going to some old person's party? I was like, Martel.
I was foolish. I ain't got no shame. But those are our takeaways from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And drop down in the comments, let us know, you know, how y'all feeling, and you know, what y'all think about what we have said. If you agree, if you disagree, if you're indifferent, whatever the case may be, let us know. But it's so good to be back and to share our thoughts with y'all. So if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up. Make sure you also share it. If you're new here, hello. Make sure you subscribe, and welcome to the R&D show.
Welcome.
So until the next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Deuces.